Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm David Weischadle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weischadle. Doug, what is up?
Lots of things.
Good.
A lot of
Good.
sports this past weekend, racing,
basketball.
basketball.
I want to ask you a question. I'm checking my bets from last night, and it seems like every time I take the under in an NBA game, it goes overtime. Is it just me, or is it always going overtime when I do the under in an NBA game?
Well, scoring's up, so
first off,
rarely do I take an under in the NBA.
Shame on me
year.
for taking an under in an NBA game, but no, it just seems that every time I do the under, not only it goes over, it adds insult to injury by going into overtime.
Well, the one thing I've been doing is taking a look at the games, and if I want to bet an under, I'll take one of the alternate totals and go higher.
Oh, okay, all right. No, I'm
not
not
that's a little.
I'm not that advanced.
No, it's just you take a look at the alternate. I've been watching some of the games, and the games are just crazy in terms of scoring this year. And every time you think you have something figured out, the teams just go crazy. I mean, like one of the games over the last couple of days was a Sixers game that should have been an under game.
That's the one I was thinking of.
And I think some reason, both teams exploded for scoring, and they went high. They went over 230.
There was one game that had 80 points in the first quarter.
Yeah. No,
so basically, shame on me for taking the under in any NBA game. That's what you're saying, right?
The way I've been looking at this year, if I want to take an under, I choose one of the alternate lines that's higher than the over/under for the game. That's the game line that's being set by the book.
That's actually a pretty good tip.
And it's just one of those things where, again, hockey seems to be scoring a lot too.
Well, first off, I'm crushing it in hockey. And I shouldn't even say that because that's the kiss of death. But I'm doing pretty well in hockey.
And you'll never do good in hockey again after that.
No. Like I said, it's the kiss of death.
But again, offense seems to be up in both leagues. And it's really nice to see if you love offense, if you love betting the overs, especially hockey, the goals. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of 6.5, 7.5, 7 over/under goal totals, too.
Well, let me tell you something. The one thing I refuse to bet on are the spring training games for the MLB. I'm not sure why
they have such a huge market for those.
I guess they do, and there are even promos out there to bet on the spring games of the MLB. But, I just don't know who's playing. I don't know how long they're playing. I don't know, what would be going on with regard to coaching decisions. So I just stay away from those games.
I saw a couple books offering spring football.
Oh, okay. I don't even know about that one, but
so it's just the exhibition season for baseball. I'm not touching either. So, but again, my tip is if you want to bet NBA, you want to bet it under, take a higher alternate total and go the under that way.
Well, we got a great show coming up. We're going to have the Turnpike Sports Book Report where we talk about what's going on, the sports books across the country, and right after this commercial break coming up, right after the rundown, I'm going to be talking with Seth Palansky from Conscious Gaming. We're going to talk all about responsible gaming and what this new organization is doing to help get the word out about responsible gaming. So Seth Palansky, great guy.
So it's Problem Gambling Awareness Month. So perfect time for talking about responsible gambling in the industry, both on the casino and the sports betting side.
I like we mentioned that right after our problems with the
problems
unders on the NBA and the
go hand in
NHL.
Hand.
Okay.
Well, the responsible gambling attitude would be don't make that bet.
It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
First up this week, we have Yahoo getting involved with the production of the NBA's betting-centric alternate broadcast, the NBA BetCasts.
I love these BetCasts. I mean, I just love the amount of information they give. I love the one a couple weeks ago that golf had on Peacock.
Yeah, it was a combination of PointsBet, Peacock, and NBC Sports Edge.
I love that. More BetCasts. I want more BetCasts.
Well, this is the NBA BetStream. Now, this has been going on since 2019. Yahoo Sports, the NBA, and BetMGM are in a partnership. And what they've been doing is integrating the BetMGM odds with the NBA Game Pass, the alternate stream, the digital stream of the NBA games.
So you need to purchase the NBA Game Pass.
The NBA League Pass.
In order to get the NBA Bet stream.
That's part of it. What's been going on is there's been an alternate BetCast within the League Pass, which has been powered by BetMGM, Yahoo Sports, and also the NBA. Yahoo Sports this year is getting involved in the actual production of it. So instead of just having the Yahoo Sports platform powered by BetMGM as a gateway to it, you're actually going to see Yahoo personalities doing play-by-play and discussing the betting odds throughout the game.
Who are the Yahoo personalities? Well, I don't know who the Yahoo personalities.
Jared Quay.
Okay.
And Preston Johnston.
Oh,
Preston Johnston.
Okay, yeah.
They're going to be hosting the streams.
Now, he has the Twitter handle Sports Cheetah. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love his stuff.
They're going to be doing...
I watch him on the ESPN, what is that called? I forgot.
Daily Wager.
Daily Wager. There you go.
Well, they're going to be doing loose play-by-play because they're not commentators. They're not game play-by-play commentators. They're going to be doing more in terms of interweaving the betting talk in with the actual play-by-play.
Okay.
It's actually been a very interesting partnership. They mentioned the fact that this has become an easier thing to do for the NBA BetCasts or the NBA Bet Stream because of this existing partnership already. They've already had this in place, and a lot of times it's a rights issue to get a bet stream going. And with this already in place, Yahoo, BetMGM, and NBA, they've had this in place. According to BetMGM, Yahoo Sports has referred over 1 million people to BetMGM over the course of this partnership.
Okay.
So it was very easy to get this set up. And they actually even did a promo not too long ago, BetMGM did, where new customers get a free month or a free season of League Pass for the NBA League.
That's pretty cool.
So they were doing that for a while.
That's a pretty good deal.
And that was all a precursor to getting this bet. I want to call it a BetCast, but it's really, they call it the NBA Bet Stream. It's just another added betting avenue for you. I mean, if you have the golf stuff with PointsBet, with the BetCast there, you have BetCasts everywhere with a lot of other regional sports teams. I remember the Sixers did a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, no, in halftime, they actually, I think it's PointsBet, where they check out the live in-game lines, how they moved from before the game, and then they show them at halftime. I like that feature.
And I know some of the Washington teams did it because of Leonsis over there. They did some alternate betcasts too. So it's another way of watching it. You're going to see a lot of information on the screen though, so be prepared for that. It's going to be like watching one of those business networks.
Exit 2.
Over on the eSports side, we have the launch of the Celebrity Esports Superstar League.
Another league, okay.
Now, this is formed by a group called Celebrity Esports, CES. CES was launched in 2020 with the idea of trying to bridge the gap between hardcore esports and mainstream audiences. So what they've come up with is an idea called the CES Superstar League.
So these are all celebrities that people should know, and if people will be watching them play the esports and hopefully get involved in esports, right?
Let me put it this way: these could, I don't know if they're using the term celebrities as in terms of movie and TV stars. These are also influencers.
Okay, all right.
So right now the league is
sometimes these places have celebrity events and things like that. I don't even know half the celebrities who they are.
Well, the idea behind the league, there's going to be 12 celebrities spread across 6 teams, playing with and against fans across a range of different titles.
Okay.
Titles have not been really set out yet, but that's how they're going to be working it. The qualification for the celebrity, it's interesting.
Oh, this was what makes a celebrity
in their terms.
All right, in their terms.
You have to have an average of 1 million followers on Instagram.
Instagram, okay.
So it's not, you don't have to be on TV, you don't have to be on movies or radio or anything. You just have to have 1 million followers on Instagram, as well as some other social media.
So as long as you have followers, a lot of followers on social media, that makes you a celebrity.
Right,
okay.
right. Now, here you go. This is an example of who they have as celebrities for this. SV2, who is huge on Instagram for eSports. He's a content creator.
Okay.
They have a trio from Love Island, which is a TV show.
I have never heard of Love Island.
It's on one of
Is
the
this like a
cable
Bachelor
networks.
thing?
Yeah, it's basically that.
Okay. Love Island.
They have a trio of people from Love Island. They are in the process of selecting more quote-unquote celebrities. Like I said, they use the term loosely, depending on how you actually view these people.
Love Island.
So it's going to be interesting. It's a way to – they don't want the hardcore esports audience. They want the fringe esports audience. They want the
they want to
the
get
reality show audience, basically.
Yeah, well, they want to get people exposed to esports and, watching their favorite celebrity or influencer or whatever you want to call it play esports as a way to get people involved in esports, which is good. Great.
Yep. And these celebrities will be paired with fans. They have to go through an application process and then a random draw, almost like a draft for the different teams.
All right.
Before they can actually start playing. Then they're going to make episodic esports shows based upon this competition. They're going to be playing a title for one show, then another title for another show.
So will these fans have to get their SAG card because they're going to be on TV and speaking on air and things like that?
This is going to be streamed somewhere.
Okay.
They haven't decided the platform, but it's streamed. It's not going to be on broadcast TV.
All right.
Not yet, anyway. I don't know if they're working on that or not. But
that's the next step. You're going to have to get your SAG card if you're streamed.
Well, they do it for wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, but the idea is this is going to be launching later this month, probably by the end of the month, maybe early April, something like that. And they're going to be looking to do additional sponsorships and merchandise sales during the games. They're going to have in-game stuff going on that is going to increase not only the revenue that the actual competition is doing, but also some side revenue things that will actually engage non-hardcore esports fans. That's the idea of all this, bridging the gap.
Good.
Exit 3.
Got another trademark situation brewing in the courts.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
This one, and I have titled this, if you're watching it on TV, upon further review. Because...
Is this a football thing? Or
Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State, okay.
Ohio State has been fighting Redbubble, which is one of the online vendors that allows people to put up their own artwork and sell things.
Okay, all right.
Redbubble has been selling Buckeye-related images, especially images of Urban Meyer.
Well, let me ask you something. Redbubble isn't creating these images, right? They're just providing a platform for people who create these images to sell, right? It's like a which one of those sites?
It's like a Cafe Press or an Etsy or something like that.
Something like that. Is that what
that was their argument, and it worked in the lower court.
Oh, okay, good.
It worked in the lower court.
Yeah.
They said they were a passive pass-through type of entity where people just put up their stuff and another party buys it.
Really it should be the person putting up the image and creating the image that should be in trouble.
The 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said no.
Ooh, okay.
Given the fact that Ohio State licensed products have generated over $100 million over the last 7 years, there's more of a proprietary interest in some of these marks and some of these images that are associated with Ohio State, especially the ones that have Urban Meyer's face on it. The court felt that Redbubble not only was a pass-through, but it went a little step further because it allowed for a market to exist that didn't exist before. In terms of this court is looking at it that way, where Redbubble has become part of the selling process. They market some of these things as well in some of the ads that pop up.
That has, that could have ripple effects for Amazon and eBay and Cafe Press and whoever does things like that.
Well, sites like Cafe Press, Etsy already have a policing entity as part of them where they knock down.
So you're saying Redbubble didn't have
they
that
do not have that kind of situation yet.
Okay.
They don't have that division in there yet. They may say they do. They don't really take down too much stuff. Matter of fact, they're still selling this stuff.
So they're claiming that they do have a system where they can take it down.
But they have said that they are not a seller.
Yeah.
And if you look
they're
at
right.
If you look at Redbubble's site, though, sometimes you see just Redbubble on there with the product. They don't have who the individual creator is, that sort of stuff. So it really depends on how the court was looking at. The court took it as they were doing one step further than the pass-through, which meant that the lower court, in their eyes, was wrong. They reinstated the trademark infringement situation here with the claim. So this is still going in court. This may get settled, but they've already sent a couple cease and desist to Redbubble. Ohio State has already done that, and they've ignored them, which is why they filed the trademark infringement suit. They actually had some interesting products here. They had one, an outline of the state of Michigan, the home of University of Michigan. And they have the slogan across it, urban property, referencing Urban Meyer.
See, I don't find a problem with that. I mean,
well, when they put an image with it,
I guess the image is another problem. Yeah.
And also they have stuff with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have products with Jacksonville Jaguars on it. The NFL hasn't done anything yet.
Well, to be fair, Redbubble didn't create that shirt. Someone else created that shirt and submitted it or put it on Redbubble's site to sell. So I think Redbubble has a point here.
The trademark infringement issue is back reinstated by that appeals court. It's going to go back down to the lower court for more fact findings. It's a prior fact issue. This is going to be for a while. This is probably going to be settled some way, shape, or form. But again, if Redbubble is tagged for trademark infringement here, you're right. It's going to have ripples down the line for all the other, I don't want to say the home sellers, but the sites just like that, because you may see a whole new change in the way some of these products are out there. And it may change the market a little bit, too, if something goes against Redbubble here. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know how much of an infringer they are with this stuff.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
It all depends on the court. Every court's going to look at this differently.
Exit 4.
And we're going to do a little media deal roundup here, because we got a couple deals to talk about. If you love wrestling and you love watching your wrestling on the WWE Network, you're now going to be a Peacock fan.
Oh, Peacock again. We just talked about it in terms of golf. Now, WWE is on Peacock. And does that mean they have a channel on Peacock and still have something on cable TV, or everything's just going right to Peacock?
They're still going to have all the cable TV, but the problem is a lot of the wrestling stuff is part of NBC Sports Network, which is going the way of the dodo at the end of the year. So Peacock has come in. They have an exclusive streaming right for WWE Network content now. Okay. There's no WWE Network channel. I mean, I don't know if you were aware that they started their own channel.
Is that on a smart TV kind of thing?
It's a digital app channel where you pay a subscription to watch content.
But that's going away and is going to Peacock now?
Everyone who is going to be a WWE Network customer will now be a Peacock customer.
All right.
The WWE Network app is going to be shut down. The OTT service is going to be migrated over. There's a 1.5 million subscribers to the WWE Network app. So they were making a good buck with that. They're going to be charged $4.99 a month, which is what Peacock Premium costs. The ad-free one is $9.99 a month, which was the same as what the WWE Network was charging for their subscription.
Okay.
All pay-per-view events, West WrestleMania, SummerSlam, are now all going to be on Peacock.
So if you have Peacock, there's no more pay-per-view now. If you have Peacock, you're going to get the pay-per-view that would have been pay-per-view?
No, there will be pay-per-view.
There will be pay-per-view.
But if you're a WWE Network subscriber, you were already getting all the pay-per-view things as part of your subscription.
Okay.
So you are now going to be a Peacock subscriber, and you're going to have all those pay-per-view events as part of your Peacock subscription, as well as one documentary a year.
Okay.
As part of a WWE documentary.
That's pretty cool because I have Peacock, so that's going to be great.
NFL and Disney have agreed on an outline of a $2.6 billion a year broadcast deal for ESPN to keep the Monday Night Football package.
2.6 for Monday Night Football.
2.6 billion.
2.6 billion for Monday Night Football.
Well, it's interesting because this brings up the deal closer to what the other two networks are paying. And the reason why they're equal, or just about equal, ESPN has the highlight deal. They have exclusive rights to the highlights.
Okay. So,
when you see SportsCenter, you see the NFL highlights, everything else, they pay for those highlights in there.
Plus, Monday Night Football is the one that most people watch on a national level.
Yeah, and also one of the things Disney wanted was to be in the Super Bowl rotation again.
Are they?
They are now, under this deal, ABC will be part of the Super Bowl rotation.
Wow. Okay.
They were excluded since 2006.
I can't remember the last Super Bowl I saw on ABC. So
2006 is the last year they were involved with anything like that. And last little media deal, Formula E, the electric cars that the Formula racers have now done a deal that will expand their broadcast coverage to over 150 countries. 40 broadcasters for the 2021 season. It's going to be the first time you're going to have Brazil broadcasting Formula E races. Also, they're going to be showing Formula E racing for the first time in 50 African countries. So they have done an incredible deal expanding this. This was the group that started the virtual racing as well.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw some of that.
But these are the electric cars. So that's if you love Formula E racing, you're going to have a lot more of it in the 2021 season.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Stick around. We got a great show coming up. We have the Turnpike Sports Book Report later on, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. But right after this, we're talking responsible gaming with Seth Palansky from Conscious Gaming. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. You probably remember our next guest because he's been on our show several times before in his role with the World Series of Poker. But now Seth Palansky has a new job at an incredible new organization called Conscious Gaming, which is doing very important things in the gambling world. We're going to hear all about Conscious Gaming because on the line we have the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility, Seth Palansky, to tell us all about it. Seth, thanks for coming on.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to be with you, Dave. Was that the Three Stooges I heard in the intro?
It was the Three Stooges. They've done surprisingly a lot of betting material, believe it or not.
I miss those guys.
Oh, they're great. They're great. But you know what? And we missed you on this show. It's been a couple of years since you've been on, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's great to be back with you.
Oh, absolutely. And, as I said, you spent a lot of years at the WSOP before making the change to Conscious Gaming. What did you see in Conscious Gaming that made you want to be a part of it?
Well, it was just a great opportunity to meld sort of all my prior experiences in the gaming industry and the sports industry. It was at the NFL before I was at the World Series of Poker. And Conscious Gaming is trying to sort of unite all these industries around responsible gaming and integrity issues. So I jumped at the chance to join a nonprofit for the first time in my career and help do some positive things on behalf of all the industries I've worked in and love.
For those who aren't familiar with Conscious Gaming, what is it and what is its mission in the gambling world?
Sure. Well, it's a philanthropic organization committed to using technology to propel social responsibility initiatives. So that's a lot of words to say that technology can be a great equalizer, and the folks behind GeoComply, who supply all the geolocation services to the internet gaming industry in the U.S., that is helping identify where a user is located to make sure they're inside the state borders of the state they're gambling in. So that company, GeoComply, started Conscious Gaming as a way to give back and a way to make sure that we're looking forward as iGaming expands across the U.S. To make sure we're taking care of people who get in trouble gambling. And it can be an addiction, and it's something that it's important that it's only done for entertainment purposes.
You mentioned it. Tell us about the technology that Conscious Gaming is implementing. I mean, from your website, consciousgaming.org, it sounds incredibly fascinating what the organization is doing.
Yes, we're working in several different industries as well. We're working in human trafficking and areas to try to stop people there. But basically, technology can be an equalizer. And what the U.S. Industry is set up for gaming is that it's state-run, right? Every state has their own rules of the road, and that makes it difficult for operators because they have to conform to different rules based on the state they're operating in. So you get a patchwork of rules across the U.S., and operators working in multiple states are now forced to kind of come up with different processes and policies to stay in bounds based on the different states. So we're using technology to sort of break down those state barriers and allow for these operators in the industry to protect consumers nationwide instead of just in the state they're in.
Now, one of the first initiatives, which is very interesting for Conscious Gaming, is something called Play Pause. What is that?
Sure. Play Pause is our first tool. It's a technology tool. And self-exclusion is something the industry is familiar with. It gives a consumer the opportunity to opt out of gambling, whether it be for a cooling off period or, say someone makes a New Year's resolution and says, I want to stop gambling for 6 months to start 2021. Mm-hmm. They can go to a state regulator or an operator and exclude themselves from gambling. So Play Pause is attempting to take those folks, voluntary self-excluded players, and put them in a database with involuntary persons, which could be like coaches and referees and players from sports leagues and gaming operator employees who shouldn't be betting on gambling based on those company policies. So anyone who needs to be blocked from betting goes inside PlayPause, and we offer technology that allows the operators to block betting from those persons.
Now, I know living here in New Jersey, when you go online, go onto an online slot or table games, the sites have time limits or betting limits for online casinos. Tell us how PlayPause is different from those programs that limit the ability for people to place bets.
Sure. Well, New Jersey is a great example and one of the use cases we studied to make this technology possible, because actually 25% of the people betting on New Jersey iGaming sites are residents of New York.
Yeah.
So PlayPause solves this issue where those folks can self-exclude from gambling in New Jersey, but they could still walk into a New York casino and gamble because they're not on any New York list. They've self-excluded from New Jersey. And that's where the problem of borders becomes a problem for consumers. They cross state lines, they visit different places, and we needed to carry these protections to anywhere the consumer is. So cooling off periods and time limits, these all go as responsible gaming tools. Self-exclusion is just one piece of a broader protection scheme that's necessary to protect consumers. It may start where you put in time limits or cooling off periods, and then you realize you need to do more, that it's still not helping you enough. Or you may go the other way and say, that's great. I can now manage my gambling in an entertainment fashion by inputting time or betting limit.
One of the interesting things I read about PlayPause is that it allows the user to customize the limits that can be set that you alluded to. Tell us something about that, and why is that an important aspect of PlayPause?
Yes, thank you, Dave. That's a good point. So it is completely up to the user to decide how they want to do it, right? Mm-hmm. When you have an addiction, or when you're not sure whether you have an addiction, you need to test the boundaries and understand for yourself what you can control and what you can't. And when you realize you can't control something, obviously you need to stop or prevent yourself from doing it if you can. So giving the user more power, the consumer more power in this case, is very important because ultimately it's a decision the individual has to make for themselves. So our technology is very customizable and allows for all these different things. For example, for the sports leagues, we're trying to get their databases inside PlayPause, and maybe the NBA just wants to block their players from betting on basketball, but it's okay if their players want to bet on baseball, right? Mm-hmm. So we need to customize this software to allow unique cases like that. And it can be done for a consumer, it can be done for a gaming operator, a regulator, or a sports league, anyone who's putting user information inside of PlayPause.
Now, if I'm a consumer and I want to utilize PlayPause, where would I go to sign up or register for PlayPause?
Well, the goal, we're trying to get this launched now and get everyone to accept it, and it does require a technical integration on our part with an operator, a state regulator, or a sports league. So the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board has come on board first with us, and that means if you were in the state of Pennsylvania, you can go to the state regulator website, and if you were intending to self-exclude in any manner, you'd go through their process, and you could just opt in to PlayPause as part of it, telling Pennsylvania that you want to extend your protections anywhere that PlayPause is. So we hope to get as many of the industry stakeholders on board by September. We're just completing all the technology we need to do this. Still, some of it's being developed and should be ready in March, actually, and then we'll start our technical integrations. BetMGM and Entain have come aboard, and we're talking to the industry now to get them signed in.
You touched upon it. I mean, I was thinking, wow, this seems like a huge amount of information that has to be organized. I mean, how much does conscious gaming work with the casinos or the state regulators in order to effectively process all this data? I mean, how closely do you work with regulators in the state?
Yeah, Dave, this is one important thing, and we work very closely with all of them. We need all of their support, and this is where everyone's used to managing things on the state level, and we're trying to be that connective tissue to make this nationwide. And it's important to understand that each stakeholder, so if that's a state regulator who does self-exclusion or the gaming operators that operate in those states, they keep control of their database, and our technology de-identifies the user before it puts it into the PlayPause repository. What that means is we solve all these data privacy issues and the issues where gaming operators don't want to share customer lists with each other for competitive reasons. There's a whole bunch of issues like that that are understandable. Every industry faces the same thing, protecting their customer data. But we've done is we've created a unique player identifier for each individual. So we'll never know who the person is who has chosen to self-exclude, or in the case of a sports league player, who that player is that the league wants to stop from betting. We just get a token into our repository, and if someone goes to place a bet with any gaming operator that's using PlayPause, that bet is automatically blocked. So the beauty of it is keep the database with the database holders, and that could be a gaming operator, could be a state regulator, or it could be a sports league, right? They keep all that information, and they just share this token with us. It protects everyone, conforms to data privacy laws, conforms to state regulations around gambling, and it's a nice, elegant solution using technology.
You know, you predicted my next question, because I was going to ask about data security, because that is such a hot topic now. When someone signs up for something, you know, they want to make sure that their information that they give you is protected, and it seems like that's a priority for conscious gaming.
It absolutely is. Data privacy is really important. It's at the center of this. It was created this way, and this is actually why the U.S. can do this right, because they are getting information at registration that can really identify the user. You need to know your customer in the United States based on the laws that are there, and that does matter greatly. Where you studied the UK, and their sign-ups were much looser, and they couldn't effectively put in responsible gaming tools that were effective because they didn't really know who each person was. Well, PlayPause is going to 100% know who that individual is, and then we're just going to de-identify them, right? Which really means we know because we're going to create a unique number for them, but we're never going to know who or he or she is in actuality. We're just going to use that token to block the betting. So this really solves a lot of the issues why this hasn't been addressed previously, because the industry is united on this. We've talked to everyone that we can, and they're very supportive and agree something like this needs to exist. There just hasn't been a way to do it previously.
You know, that was one of my next questions. It's such an important aspect of the gambling industry. I was curious, what were the reactions of people who work in the gambling industry? Because the people I've talked to, they say, you know, responsible gambling is so important to the health of this industry. What has been the response of the gambling industry to PlayPause?
Well, it's a very good question. It's an important, because we need their support to make this happen. Because if you think about it, for a consumer, they can say they want to self-exclude, but if you're in New Jersey and you can cross into Pennsylvania and easily gamble on their sites, is it really helping that consumer, right?
Yeah.
The industry, everyone, or if you can exclude on DraftKings, but it's not recognized on BetMGM, then you're not doing anything really for the user, right? So everyone understands and agrees. We're very, what's the word? I'm very bullish and positive in the conversations I've had that everyone gets it and knows this is something that needs to be done. The really only hurdle, Dave, is the technical integration piece. It's not require time to get done. And when new states are launching, like recently happened in Michigan and Virginia, and they have a whole host of technical requirements to go with them, you can see how this isn't the priority when there's, needs to make sure they launch on time in other states and things like that.
Now, I know Play Pause went live in Pennsylvania. Tell us how that's going and how the process is working out.
Going very smooth. We're getting registrants weekly into Play Pause from those that are taking a break, pausing their play in Pennsylvania. We've had no issue at all with the technology working as it's intended to. And it seems very clear and understandable to a user. And we're seeing very good adoption for those that want to take a break. Now, my next steps really are to get Play Pause commitments from the sports leagues and from more of the gaming operators and more of the state regulators, so we can really tie this all together. And we're far down the road with several of each group discussions, so hopefully we'll have announcements in the near future related to that. At the end of the day, we're only going to feel good about this when we get 100% adoption, because that's the only way to make sure the consumer is truly protected like they need to be.
Are there certain states that you're looking at next for Play Pause? I mean, like I said, you're in Pennsylvania. I guess the next logical thing would New Jersey. It's right next to it, or New York, or where do you think Play Pause could be found next?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are focused on the iGaming approved states first. So internet gaming, this is where we're going to start with this tool because of the know your customer requirements to open up an online account. Our solution works great for that. What's not perfect is the land-based environment, right? Because people can still go in there and gamble without showing ID and without verifying who they are. You have to do it, obviously, when you win a jackpot or interact with a cashier or things like that. And a lot of places in Vegas, you can go into a sports book and make a wager at the window there without showing any ID. So we're going to focus on iGaming states first and get all those folks integrated. And we're talking in the land-based environment with folks that do like cashless gaming and digital wallets and things like that to integrate there where your customer is known as well. So ultimately, though, we're not going to stop until we're everywhere that there's gaming in the U.S.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned iGaming. I mean, during the pandemic, we have seen a rise in online gambling, especially in my home state of New Jersey. I mean, most of the time you're stuck at home, you feel anxious, and a slot machine or a table game is as close as your cell phone. How important is it for the gambling industry to address the issues of problem gambling, especially now?
It's critical, and it's critical that it happens soon, because you just have to study other markets like the UK or Australia or anywhere else across Europe who's a decade or so ahead of the U.S. in terms of legalizing this and making it available. And the problems do come, okay? It's just facts that a small percentage of people partaking in this activity can't control it. And we have to be there as an industry for those folks and have the tools in place to make sure that consumers are protected. So the sooner everyone gets on board, the sooner we can effectively solve this issue and make sure we stay ahead of it. Because everyone wants the industry to prosper long term. States want the tax revenue. Consumers want to participate in it. Operators obviously want to expand their offerings as far as they can. But what you see in the United Kingdom right now is a huge review of the gambling laws there, because they've had a lot of problems on the responsible gaming side of things because they didn't put the proper tools in place. So there's a great chance for the United States, because of their robust know your customer rules in effect when you sign up for an account online, that we can effectively use technology to mitigate these problems.
You know, I knew you were coming on. So yesterday I wanted to try a little experiment. I knew I was seeing a lot of commercials for gambling here in New Jersey. So I wanted to write down all the television commercials I saw yesterday about online gambling in my state. And here's the list I saw on television commercials. FanDuel, DraftKings, Sugar House, BetMGM, WynnBET, Bet365, Betfair, PointsBet, Borgata, Unibet, Golden Nugget, and Party Poker. And now, to borrow a term from your business, I mean, I've never been more conscious of the amount of marketing the gambling business does and is doing in New Jersey. How challenging is it for Conscious Gaming to get the word out about important initiatives like Play Pause when there's marketing like this by the gaming industry?
Yeah, well, it's fascinating to hear that, Dave, because yes, it's such the early stages of this business that from a business perspective, you understand their need to try to get market share. But this is part of responsible gaming too. Advertising, what the rules of the road should be around that, how much, where they're advertising, make sure it's focused on adults, like all these things. There's rules that are in place and others that need to be identified and fixed. For example, there's a big review in Europe, and they started to stop advertising on jerseys in some of the countries across Europe because they found that, you can't buy a kid a jersey anymore there without it being a gambling logo on it, for example. So Conscious Gaming has its work cut out to get and break through some of this clutter. We're actually going to start an advertising campaign in the coming weeks regarding illegal gambling websites and helping consumers identify the difference between illegal and legal sites, because there's no way to protect a consumer on an illegal website because they don't have responsible gaming measures at all. So we know as part of our efforts to help consumers, that's a piece we got to take on. So we'll get there. We appreciate folks like you, Dave, taking the time to learn and understand it and share with your audience. But we're confident that the first step is get the industry united, and I'm sure we'll have a bright future going forward.
With more and more states expanding their gambling legislation, I mean, they're either building new casinos, allowing sports betting, or online gambling. How critical is it for states to start off with important initiatives like Play Pause to put in place right from the start? I mean, Michigan just started online gambling and online sports betting a couple weeks ago. Virginia just started online sports betting. Illinois just introduced legislation for online casinos. How critical is it for the gambling industry in those states new to gambling to address those issues of problem gambling right from the start of their gambling market?
It's critical. It's critical that responsible gaming is talked about, that there's funding aside for addiction and to help people, and that if they're going to pass laws and bring this to their state, that they have to look at this in totality. And I should applaud the states because they're very cognizant of this. They are doing their part. They are putting rules in place in regards to responsible gaming. And I wish we started a little earlier, because maybe we could have got ourselves intertwined with these states that just launched before they launched with Play Pause. But we're seeing good conversations with those states, and that's one of my mandates, is to get in front of any new states that are considering this legislation to make sure they understand what Play Pause is and how it can help them in their efforts in responsible gaming.
What can we expect from Conscious Gaming in the future? What are your plans for the coming year?
I think you're going to find us using technology wherever we can to help consumers. That's ultimately our mandate. We're starting in the gaming industry because that's something we know well with our founders of GeoComply, who have been in this business from the start and who are broadly used across the industry. And we'll look to take our technology. We're a cybersecurity firm, the parent company at its core, and they're doing a lot of things to make sure the internet can be a safe place for anyone using it for business purposes. So we're going to start with this, and I hope you'll see a lot of announcements with all the key players in the industry coming on board. And then the network effect will take over, and those that aren't, we'll see the need to get on board quickly. So if you ask me what a year or two from now looks like, it's broadly adopted Play Pause in iGaming working successfully, and us beginning to tackle other areas like you allude to, whether it be advertising or the illegal market or other responsible gaming tools that the industry should come together on. Because this is an area the industry is united on, while they may be competing for customers, and that's why you see all those commercials. When it comes to responsible gaming, we're all on the same side.
Seth, we're running out of time, but can you give out your website for Conscious Gaming and any social media address so people can keep up to date with all the great work being done by Conscious Gaming?
Sure. Yes, you can go to consciousgaming.org to learn more about us, and you can link there to what Play Pause is and what it's doing. And we're Conscious Gam on Twitter, and we'll keep you updated with what we're up to there. And for those of you in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, maybe you'll be seeing more of us as we launch the Bettor Safe campaign. Bettor, Bettor Safe.org. We'll have more information on what we're doing there.
Seth Palansky from Conscious Gaming, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about Conscious Gaming and the incredible work you're doing with the gambling industry, especially with Play Pause. Please come back on and keep us updated with the great work Conscious Gaming is doing.
My pleasure, Dave. Thank you very much.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE. And By the Numbers is sponsored by Play Sugar House Online Casino and Sportsbook in New Jersey. Sign up at playsugarhouse.com/Pike and get a first deposit match of up to $250. Enjoy the casino experience online. Play Sugar House offers over 400 games online, slots, table games, hey, even bingo. It's like being in a casino without leaving your home. That's playsugarhouse.com/Pike to get your first deposit match of up to $250 today. Must be 21 years or older and physically present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 800gambler.org.
All right, we are in the By the Numbers segment of Turnpike Sports, where we let the numbers tell the story, whether it's a statistic or a ratings or a dollar figure or whatever, and Dave has no clue of what I'm talking about most of the time in this segment.
Even when you tell me the answer, I usually have no clue what you're talking about. But go ahead.
First up, we have the number 455.
I have no earthly idea what that is.
You only want to take a guess?
455. That's such a weird number. I don't know if it's a dollar figure, if it's a ratings figure. I'll say ratings. Something about 455.
You're close.
Million?
You're close.
Or something? I don't know.
You're close.
What?
It's the number. It's the percent of increase of the number of sports betting app downloads in the month of February as compared to last year, 2020 February. 455% increase.
455%.
increase.
Oh, my God. What the hell kind of number is that? I've never heard of 455%. That's incredible.
Well, I guess 4.5 times last February.
Yeah.
So,
boy.
But 455%. Sports betting apps were downloaded by users.
That's a jarring number, by the way. That's an incredible number.
Incredible
growth.
You want to know how much more incredible that is? That is before any sports betting apps were allowed in the Google Store, the Google Play Store.
That's right. Google is allowing
March 1st.
Yeah, March 1st. Google allowed betting apps.
Yep.
This is before betting apps.
This is February.
Wow. Okay.
And let's see. Let's go through some of these numbers. You said 455 was a huge number. January's was 299% growth year over year of sports betting app downloads.
It doesn't seem that big when you think of February's number now.
Well, 3 to 450.
Wow.
I mean, it's growing. It's exponential almost. It's almost doubling every month right now.
It'll be probably bigger next year because it's there's more states coming on.
I'm curious to see what March is going to look like when it gets reported because of all the extra ability for somebody to download. Because right now, in February,
you mean because of Google?
If you had an Android, you had to go to the sports betting website on your phone.
Yeah, I know. I
download it.
When I have all my apps on my phone, I had to go to the actual site because I couldn't get it in the Play Store.
And now you're going to be able to go to Google Play, or Play Store, whatever you want to call it, and you're going to see a directory of them now.
Okay, it's going to have a
when you search
specific section.
If you search sports betting, you're going to see all the different apps that are in the store now.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Exactly.
I tell you, it's great.
You actually may see somebody go through and download 10 of them all at one shot, depending on what state they're in, because some of them aren't going to be legal in some of the states. They're saying this is a lot due to Super Bowl betting and the addition of new states like Michigan, Virginia, Tennessee. That increased the amount of downloads because they are also on the App Store for Apple. And Apple is seeing a lot of downloads ever since they redesigned their App Store with I think it was their native language issue that they had all last year.
Yeah, that was a big controversy for a lot of people because they had to redo their apps and the way they redo the language of their apps. So it was very... that was a stressful time for a lot of sports betting companies.
And FanDuel led all February downloaders. 44% of the total downloads was done for FanDuel, followed by DraftKings with 26%. BetMGM had 11%. Barstool had 5%, and William Hill had 4%.
That William Hill number is pretty shocking. I thought William Hill would be right up there with FanDuel and DraftKings.
Well, again, you got to take a look at exactly where William Hill is available. Other than Nevada, New Jersey, and I think it's Indiana, that's really where the William Hill app is available. I think they are launching in Virginia too, but they aren't as widespread as all these other apps that are out there. Again, that's a factor of what's going to happen with William Hill down the road with the Caesars. Caesars just completed their acquisition of William Hill in the United States, so you may see those downloads change. Wherever Caesars is, you may see a William Hill app launch pretty quick now that they own William Hill in the United States. Next number, $6.25 billion.
I know what this is because I just read the article. The Sands are selling their property. The Sands is selling their property.
Their Las Vegas properties.
Yeah. So
they're selling 3
I had
of
to
their
get
properties.
the conjugation right on that.
I actually didn't know, and I don't know why I didn't know this. I didn't really think about it. I know they own the Venetian, the Palazzo, but the Expo Center, I never really put the name Sands on it, but that's the official name, Sands Expo Convention Center in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I knew about the Venetian, the Palazzo. When I read the article, they have the Expo Center too. I didn't know it was the Sands Expo Center, like you said. But
no, I never really associated the Expo Center with them, but they're selling all 3 properties in Vegas so they can focus on Macau, Singapore, some other locations around the country here in the United States as well as outside. I know they were in the mix for a Greek license that Mohegan Sun finally won, but they have other properties, other priorities that they want to focus on. So basically, you're seeing a lot of Las Vegas Sands properties pulling out of Nevada. I don't think there are, after this, any other Las Vegas Sands properties in Nevada once the sale goes through. And it's being sold to 2 different people. Its total is $6.25 billion. It's being sold to VICI Properties, which is the real estate trust. They're buying the real estate for $4 billion. Apollo Group is buying the casino operations and also the expo operations for $2.25 billion.
Okay.
So it's kind of a split deal. It's not being sold to one entity. They're parsing it out. They're getting a full value for the two different aspects of operations and the real estate. Apollo is going to be paying rent to VICI for 30 years for $250 million a year to cover the deal that was done there. It's a 30-year lease, and there's 2 10-year renewals after that, so basically about 50 years that they're going to be paying rent. And Las Vegas Sands has guaranteed that rent payment to the VICI. If certain sales fall below a certain level, they're going to guarantee the rest of the rent that is due and owing to VICI. It's just kind of an incredible situation where I never thought I'd see Las Vegas Sands leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, Sands has been synonymous with Vegas. I mean, you think of all the Rat Pack and everyone think like that with classic Vegas. The Sands has always been there, you know?
Yeah, and it's sad to see him go, but like I said, they want to focus on Macau where they are one of the leaders.
Well, Macau is the number one gaming market in the world.
There's a lot more disposable income there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Singapore, and they've got some other things in the works. I know they had even talked about Vietnam, too, for a while. But, you know, again, other opportunities may come down the road, and you may see them even start doing something with the online stuff, too. I don't think they do too much in any way, shape, or form with online gaming or even sports betting, but you may see some other projects come down the road, especially with Canada, with the sports betting moving ahead, straight ahead there, and a lot of online gaming moving forward, too. Last number for the week, $386 million.
Is it $1?
It's $1.
It's $1. That's as close as I'm going to get.
It's a negative $1.
It's a negative. Someone lost $386 million.
Formula One.
Wow.
Lost $386 million last year in 2020, mainly because of COVID.
Well, yeah, I guess they weren't racing, or
they had to readjust their schedule.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what Formula races I saw last year, and I don't think I did any. I think I saw a virtual Formula One on ESPN, I think, one night, but that's about it.
Well, according to their conference call, their earnings call, whatever you want to call it, they were able to put together 17 rounds of shorter, more geographically compact race scheduling. So there wasn't a lot of traveling, and there were shorter races. Now, they had to do it because they had to reduce costs. They weren't allowed to have fans.
Yeah,
and
I don't understand.
More so than anyone else, Formula One relies on their fans in the stands for these races because they depend on a percentage of the revenue that the tracks bring in to cover the race broadcast fees. And they in 2019 they had $2.02 billion in revenue. They went down to $1.4 billion in 2020. And let's see, U.S. $17 million profit in 2019 turned into the $386 million loss last year. So their net revenue was in the toilet.
Wow, boy.
They didn't get any kind of promotion fees from some of these races because of COVID. They actually had to give some of the race tracks a break on doing this, so they would have the races at least. And again, it was just really, really bad to see what COVID actually does to a company like this. We'll have to see what they do in 2021, but they did take almost a $400 million hit in 2020.
Wow.
Hopefully they recover from this.
I hope so, too. Yeah, no, it's a great sport.
And that's it for this week's By the Numbers segment. And again, we'll do these every week, and I'll try and stump Dave.
Stick around, because we're going to have the book report next, so hang with us. More Turnpike Sports on the way.
Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Attention seniors with Medicare. This is an important announcement. Did you know you may qualify for a monthly Social Security rebate? Did you know you may qualify for a $0 monthly premium? That's right. You may qualify to get $135 added back to your Social Security check each month. Just call the Medicare benefits line to get your options. It's a free call. You may also qualify for $0 premiums, dental coverage, vision coverage, hearing coverage, and prescription drug coverage. With this type of plan, you don't need Medicare supplement insurance. Call now because you deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits, including a rebate to your Social Security check each month. Agents are standing by with free information regarding Medicare benefits. It's a free call with no obligation, but it could mean big savings for you. Call the Medicare benefits line now to see if you're eligible for a Social Security rebate.
Call 800-574-6770. 800-574-6770.
Now that we're home more than ever, we need to feel safe. Call it a sign of the times or the world we now live in. What do you want to keep safe? The people in your life? What do you want to protect? Your possessions, the things that belong to you, the things that you've worked hard for. Wouldn't it be nice to have tested, trusted 24/7 protection? Peace of mind, real protection that's always there for you and your whole family? Well, now you can with one of our state-of-the-art home security systems. Everyone thinks their home is safe until the unexpected happens. Help protect your home and loved ones today with the affordable next generation in home security. To help keep your family and property safe, call 1-800-520-4068 now. Representatives are standing by to assist you. That's 1-800-250-4068. 1-800-520-4068.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
Okay, in this week's book report, we've got a whole bunch of numbers to report. We've got a couple legislative updates as well in a couple different states. We have a bunch of deals to talk about. One massive deal that just came out recently between DraftKings and the UFC.
Yeah, I just saw that.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's start off what we always do with the sports betting numbers reported in a couple states. These are for the month of January. Welcome to the sports betting industry, Virginia.
Yes, a very historic reporting. This is their first ever sports betting numbers report from the state of Virginia, right?
And also, they had a very good first 11 days in business.
Oh, this is only for 11 days, right?
The end of January.
Oh, okay.
Second half of January, basically. Virginia Lottery, which runs the sports betting industry in the state of Virginia, or the Commonwealth of Virginia, I should say, reported that the handle for the month of January, their very first handle, was $58.896 million.
For 11 days, that's very good.
Yep, and
very
also with
good.
only a couple books. They only have about 5 books running.
It's only going to get better.
And this was, I think, aided by the Super Bowl a little bit when they first
what was
launched.
it, February 2nd or 3rd?
Yeah,
I don't even know what date it was.
The second half of January is where you put your futures in, your Super Bowl bets, your props, all that stuff. Bettors won $55.39 million for a combined 6.8% win percentage for the books themselves. Unfortunately, the adjusted gross revenue was not where a lot of people expected it to be. They had a negative $3.235 million net revenue, and that's the adjusted revenue. That's where you take the overall amount of revenue that the books brought in from that 6% hold, and you take a look at getting rid of the promos, all the other stuff. There's about $6 million in promos that they took out of that number because 58.8 minus 55 is about $3 million. But again, not a bad showing. You expect that to be the case for a new market where they have a negative revenue, because what do sportsbooks always do when they first launch? Promos, free bets.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 11 days, too, and these aren't January numbers. These are 11 days in January, so it's only going to get better. They're going to have a full month in February to really earn, so should be interesting to see the numbers next month.
State brought in taxes of $39,700 for the 11 days, so
Right.
That's actually a good indicator of the month is going to be a decent number for the state in terms of taxes. Iowa brought out their numbers for January, $149.5 million state handle, $11.343 million in revenue, $765,000 in change in taxes. They had an approximate 7.6% win rate. 81% of this January handle was from online betting.
Yeah, I always think that should be higher, especially in this day and age with the pandemic and a lot of things aren't fully reopened. 81%, is rather surprising. I mean, I think New Jersey's over 90% people betting online.
Well, you got to remember, this state just recently got rid of that in-person registration requirement.
Iowa, you mean? Iowa,
yeah. Iowa. And, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, no, it does.
As a matter of fact, FanDuel, in their earnings call, reported that they had 6 to 7 times the number of new customer registrations in January of this year than they did of December 2020, which is where the in-person registration switched over between these 2 months here, December and January. One casino property, and this always stands out to me every time I look at this number, even doing the prep work here. The Ameristar Casino had all of its $6.4 million handle bet in person. They are one of the few casinos that does not have online sports betting yet.
That's pretty rare.
They will have it. They have a deal with Barstool.
So they're going to do great. I mean, yeah. I think that's going to be a great app for them.
I think it's going to be fun to watch this market develop as well. Moving over into the Northeast, Rhode Island brought out their January numbers, 39.8%, $39.8 million handle for sports betting in the month of January. That is a record for the state.
Hey, congratulations, Rhode Island.
That was up almost 75% more than December of 2020. So they had a huge jump December to January in terms of handle. $21.9 million was wagered on their mobile sports books in January, $17.9 at the 2 land-based retail books, Twin River and Tiverton. Tiverton's the old
Newport
Grand
Casino?
Newport Grand.
Newport Grand Casino.
Yeah, the old slot hall.
Yeah, it's a slot hall. Yeah, they actually have a section where I guess they have the windows so you can make bets on bets with. But which is the one we were at? Was it Lincoln? They had
We've
more.
Been to both.
I've been to both, but the one that actually had a kind of a sports bar, sports thing that you can put your bets in.
That's the actual.
That's Lincoln, right?
That's Twin River. That's the one in Lincoln.
Okay, yeah. No, that's a pretty. I mean, it's not huge, but it's not the stadium seating thing. It's more of a sports bar that you can place bets in.
And you always see the regional sports network. What is it? New England Sports Network. Some of their pre and post game stuff happens from that sports book.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
So I've actually caught some of the broadcasts there. They have a good setup where it is because it's actually a pretty big location with that sports bar mixed in with the sports book too. Let's see. Total revenue for the month of January in Rhode Island was $3.7 million. That's almost 50% higher than the revenue was in December, which $2.5 million. Year to date. Revenue in the 7 months through the end of January here, $21 million. Players there was a handle of 193.5%. Why do I keep saying percent with this? It's driving me nuts. $193.5 million handle in the 7 months to the end of January.
No, okay.
Delaware had a handle for the month of $11.7 million. That was 33% higher than the $8.8 million that came in December. Revenue was about $1.7 million in January, which was about 55% higher than what was in the month of December. We're looking at possibly a $4 billion month in handle in January.
Well, look, if you're a sports book, these months are great for you. I mean, January you got playoff NFL. February you have the Super Bowl. In March you have March Madness. I mean, this should be the golden time for sports books. So,
and also,
this is when they should be breaking record handles every month now.
You also got the start of the NASCAR season too.
Sure.
And NASCAR betting has been really, really one of the surprising areas I've thought.
Well, I consistently try. I mean, I'll do very well in NASCAR betting, so it's fun. It makes me watch the race from beginning to end, and so it's fun.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where
it engages me. I guess that's the buzzword for betting. It engages me.
As long as it takes the place of table tennis at some point.
I can't stand table tennis.
I don't think it'll ever leave the top 5 in Colorado.
Look, if it has fans, it has fans.
Yep.
Good for them.
I think we talked about last week.
If it's making the sports book money, good. Yeah, to show table tennis.
Yeah, between Colorado and Oregon, which have table tennis as one of their top sports bet on, that sport. I don't know. I don't get the fascination.
I think it needs
with
more production value. Like I said last week, the when I saw it was just a picture of two guys playing ping pong. I mean, I think it needs better production value.
A couple legislative notes to hit. New Hampshire, we just talked about them in relation to Rhode Island and some of the other New England states. They have a bill in the House going forward to remove the 10 license cap for retail sports betting locations. So you may see more towns with sports betting parlors in them, OTBs, that sort of thing, for retail sports betting.
Great.
They also this bill would allow in-game wagering.
This is something I'm shocked at. I mean, in-game betting is something that I thought everyone had. I can't believe New Hampshire doesn't have in-game betting, which means when the game is going on and the lines are changing and the totals are changing, you can place a bet while the game is going on. I didn't know New Hampshire did not have that. I'm shocked.
And it's such a good market for sports betting, a good new market, solid for where it is in the country, New England.
Yeah. I mean, there's no one else around it.
No
one else
other than
around.
Rhode Island, maybe Vermont.
If you're in Massachusetts, if you're in Vermont, if you're in Maine, you go to New Hampshire to place your sports bet.
Well, maybe they will have some competition from Connecticut if they get their act together a little bit here.
Maybe, who knows?
The state of Connecticut just announced an agreement, as we're taping this anyway, announced an agreement with the Mohegan tribe for expanded gaming and sports betting, 13.75% tax rate on sports wagering. The Connecticut Lottery would be able to do 15 retail sports betting locations throughout the state, including Hartford and Bridgeport, which are two cities that seem to be struggling an awful lot, especially Bridgeport. It's a 10-year deal, and the only problem with this is they're facing opposition from some legislatures, and again, this may change by the time this airs, that the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation, which runs Foxwoods, Mohegan Tribe runs Mohegan Sun in Uncasville. Foxwoods has not yet agreed to it.
How did you pronounce that name again?
Mashantucket.
Mashantucket. Okay. He said Mashantucket.
Mashantucket?
Mashantucket.
Well, maybe that's the New Jersey pronunciation of that tribe. But that's they haven't agreed to it. They may agree to it by the time this airs or something similar. Virginia has legislation on the books now that will allow the state's 5 yet-to-be-built casinos to have sports betting and not count against the cap of sports betting licenses that are currently on the books.
Oh, that's big.
And last but not least, we had two guys in Massachusetts, two legislators in Massachusetts, introduce a bill that would give sports betting to bars and restaurants.
Which is going to go nowhere.
And I don't even know why they introduced it, but they had to, I guess, for their constituents.
They get their names on the news.
Yeah. That would join the other, 14, 15 bills in Massachusetts. Now, we're going to move over to the deals. We had one huge deal to talk about. DraftKings has become the UFC's first official exclusive sportsbook and daily fantasy partner in the U.S. and Canada. They are also they were named the presenting partner of the UFC Fight Clock, which is their new timekeeping system for the fight nights.
Before I comment on it, I would guess I would have to take a look at it because I don't know what technology goes into a clock or how original it is. I mean, if their name is just on it, okay, DraftKings clock.
Well, it's the UFC Fight Clock.
Well, yeah, I know, but what kind of technology is
they
going
have,
to
I pulled some
make
of the
a clock
language
better?
I pulled some of the language from the press release. And
Yeah, tell me about the clock.
Again, they use a lot of big words to not say what it really is. The UFC Fight Clock uses state-of-the-art technology, including the most flexible, high-definition screens in the world, to provide fighters and fans with the most accurate timekeeping system in combat sports. So obviously, these are screens that are going to be in some of the corners of the octagons.
All right, yeah, great.
And they're going to be able to keep time more
I'd be
accurately.
interested when I'm watching it what difference I would see in the DraftKings new clock as opposed to the old clock that wasn't sponsored by DraftKings. But I'm very interested in taking a look at it.
Well, I guess if you're an MMA fan, the clock may not be in the right spot for everybody watching the fight.
Okay, all right.
And I guess that's what they've been trying to do, come up with a way to, I guess, synchronize 4 different clocks.
That's why I'm excited about looking at it.
So. Regarding the sportsbook side and the fantasy sports side, UFC is going to be doing a free-to-play game, UFC pool with $10,000 in prizes. They're going to be available for fans to enter and compete nationwide. They'll also be having special promo bets, parlay bets, profit boost for DraftKings customers for UFC fights. You're going to see DraftKings branding everywhere on UFC locations and apps and everything. You're going to see UFC branding on the DraftKings site. And also you're going to see DraftKings odds integrated into the broadcast for UFC on their wherever they're broadcasting from, as well as on the UFC Fight Pass. It's actually kind of a wide-ranging deal here. It's probably one of the more complete deals I've seen, where it's everything.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's pretty comprehensive.
And I don't know if they're going to be the only ones. I mean, every time I see an exclusive sportsbook deal, there's always another sportsbook that comes along and does a deal.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. Does that mean I can't use any other sportsbook to bet on the UFC, or how is that going to shake out? I guess we're going to have to find out.
This may be the only official book.
Okay.
Where you're going to see UFC branding everywhere.
Okay. All right.
Because that's part of the deal where they get the branding rights.
Okay.
Again, I don't know how far-ranging the rights deal goes, whether names and likenesses of the fighters are going to be used, but at least they're going to have the UFC branding everywhere for it. That's a big deal for DraftKings. Congratulations. That's a big deal for both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
BetMGM did a deal with the Borussia Dortmund German Champions Soccer Club. They are the first U.S. partner of a German soccer team. It's cross-promotional. They're going to be able to use player imagery and team logos, as well as additional team assets for marketing applications. So they actually have likenesses involved in this.
Oh, okay. All
with
right.
this deal. That's where my question for the DraftKings thing.
Are they going to be all over the soccer jerseys? Like,
I don't know if Germany has that ban, because some countries over
Yeah.
there have the bans now where they don't put the names of the books on the.
I'd be very curious. They'll probably be around the ring of the stadium, but
well, they're
I'm
also
curious to see if they have jerseys.
There's also going to be BetMGM branded content on the club's English language social media channel, Black Yellow.
Black Yellow.
That's their nickname, I guess.
I'm assuming that's the color of the teams?
Yes.
Okay, black and yellow.
When you think of Borussia Dortmund, think Bumblebee.
Black and yellow.
Buffalo Wild Wings is now a vendor in Tennessee for sports betting.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
You go into Buffalo Wild Wings in Tennessee, you're going to be able to see a BetMGM odds and statistics being flashed all over the screens.
Okay.
Because Buffalo Wild Wings does have a national deal with BetMGM.
Okay, that doesn't mean, when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, sometimes they have that, I don't even know what it is, a tablet that they put on your...
The game tablet.
You're not going to be able to bet there, right?
No, but you will be able to see odds and stuff.
You'll see odds and things like that. Okay.
You have to have your BetMGM app ready to go.
Okay.
Again, the question comes up whether or not BetMGM will be able to block other sports books in a Buffalo Wild Wings.
I don't know. I seriously doubt that, but it'd be interesting to see if they do.
Well, there are situations in Nevada where some of the other sports books are blocked on some properties.
Oh, okay.
So the technology does exist. Whether or not it's going to be in use in Buffalo Wild Wings, I think that'd be kind of unfair because I think Buffalo Wild Wings want everybody coming into the restaurant.
Sure.
So, but we'll see. And last but not least, the Oregon Lottery has announced that they are looking at changing platforms for their Oregon scoreboard app for sports betting purposes. Right now it's Intralot and SB Tech, but they are looking at a more SB Tech-based platform. And since SB Tech is owned by DraftKings, you got to think it's going to be a DraftKings monopoly. Just like it is in New Hampshire, it's going to be that way in Oregon at some point.
Be interesting to see.
And it'll be interesting to see exactly where DraftKings goes because the only other place like that is DC, which has the one sports betting app run by Intralot. And last but not least, Wynn has done a deal with San Francisco-based sports podcast platform Blue Wire to build a Blue Wire podcast studio on the gaming floor of Wynn Las Vegas to promote their online sports betting and casino app, WynnBet. And that's the end of this week's book report. Again, there was a lot of other stories we didn't hit. Head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button, and you'll be able to see these stories that we did talk about and the stories that we didn't have time to hit on the blog in print form. So that's all I got for this week on the book report.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.